Hey, what's going on, everybody? Super excited to make this video for you today because it's National Mortgage Brokers Day.
So today we're going to go over some of the common myths that you've heard about mortgage brokers.
So let me pull up my phone and we can go over a couple here. So the first one is retail banks and big bankers say you should skip the middleman. Don't go with a broker because you're going to pay less.
That's just not even close to being true.
No.
Because when you go to them, they charge way more fees than we do. We don't have any fees at all. There are no fees.
Right, and so they only have specific products that they offer, so they're selling you on that specific product. When you go with the broker, we actually shop 20 to 30 different lenders and find the one that's going to be the best for your situation and make them compete for your business. And ultimately, they're going to get a lower rate.
Exactly.
All right, number 2, brokers can't control underwriting, but retail lenders and banks can?
Nobody can control underwriting.
We wish.
We wish. I'd pay extra, but it just doesn't work that way. They have their own timeline. They have regulations just like anybody else.
Yep.
No matter where you go, they're all working off of the same regulations, the same guidelines. So you can't, if you go to one place over another, you can't really schmooze them to do what you want.
Or that would be called breaking the law and mortgage fraud, which is years in jail and up to $1 million fine. So I don't want to get involved in that, and I'm sure you don't either. And when it comes to appraisals, appraisals are always done by a third-party company so that you cannot manipulate individual appraisers to appraise a property, because then we would have issues with properties being valued at something they're not.
Exactly.
So no bueno. All right, number 3, brokers always charge points, and it's how they get paid.
No, we get paid by the lender.
Right.
So it doesn't exist. It doesn't happen.
No. So points are based off of, it should be your decision as the consumer if you want to pay points. Paying points is when you put money in to actually lower that initial interest rate. So if you've heard the term par is where you pay pretty much nothing to get that interest rate. So that would be the number one thing that I would recommend, is always ask the lender that you're working with, what is the par rate for today if you're looking to lock?
Another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of the banks, when you get credits back, they just don't give them to you. So it says zero. It says zero, but really there is a credit. They're just pocketing it.
If we see a credit, we always apply it towards the borrower. All right, next one up. Brokers always close late.
No. No, I don't know. It just doesn't really happen very often. I think the only time that we've ever had an issue was with a borrower that just forgot to disclose information, and they will always find out, by the way. The underwriters will always find out. And then we just had to deal with it. We closed one day late.
Right.
It's really not a big deal.
And that's the only one ever that we've closed late.
Yes.
We usually close, our fastest has been 15 days, and on average it's usually about 30. And it is what it is. For whatever reason, banks and the retail lenders want to try to talk bad about brokers, but we close on time pretty much every time. All right, the next one is brokers cause the housing crash.
Lack of regulations caused the housing crash, and that goes for brokers and banks. They didn't have the laws that are in place now. They didn't have the regulations. All of that came about in 2008.
2008, 2010. And back then you didn't have to be licensed. So you could literally get up off your couch, be a loan officer, and start writing people's loans. And there was no you could literally go down to just the guy off the couch and say, I make $1 million a month and I want that house right there, and it would happen. And that's why we had to crash, because there was no regulations. It's more of a pain now to have to get documentations, but I'm actually excited about it because as homeowners, we want to make sure that our property value is going to keep rising and that there's not going to be another crash. And from what we've seen in all the documentation is the foreclosures and short sales are at an all-time low, which means that our investments are sound and secure, and that's important to us and our family.
Definitely.
All right, next one. Brokers don't service the loans.
Nobody services the loans.
It's not nobody.
It's not nobody.
There are some banks that do.
And yeah, we do work with some that they will hold on to them, but it's just most of the banks don't hold on to their loans. They actually sell them off to a lot of the people that we work with.
Exactly. And how many times we've worked with banks, we've worked with brokers in the past before we became a broker. How many times has our mortgage changed between the different houses we've had? 3 times. So it's just the nature of the business. If businesses see that there's an opportunity for them to make a certain amount of money or quicker money, they turn around and they sell those notes to other businesses. It doesn't matter if they're big banks, Wells, Chase, those types, or smaller banks. They all sell to other people. It's just the nature of mortgages right now.
And what you have to keep in mind too is that you're locked into that rate. So it's not like when they sell, they can change it or change anything about your loan.
Your mortgage stays the same.
It is the same.
All right, next one up. Retail lenders and banks say they can broker too. Not really.
Not really.
So there are certain things, investment properties, they might be able to, but in terms of being able to access all the products that we can across 20 to 30 different lenders, it's just a fallacy. It's not true.
Not true.
So ultimately, that's what we do, is we want the consumer to have the best. We want you to have full disclosure, full transparency. You know what you're gonna get. You know what the rate's gonna be. You know how much you're paying for or how much credit you're getting back when you work with us. And ultimately, it needs to be a smooth and easy transaction for us and our clients so that they refer us, because
Definitely.
we're a family-run business. We work based off of referral. It's not a turn and burn numbers game for us. It's about building long-term relationships. So if you have any questions about mortgages, maybe you have a quote right now and you want to compare it, we're always happy to help with that. And anything else?
Yeah, we can do a second opinion without pulling your credit. If you have an idea of what it is, we can just run through the numbers and see if we can help you out, see if you can save any more money with us.
Exactly. And this is why brokers are better. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.